We are the DFPN. Always question the answers.
No Gimmicks podcast, and we bring it to you. Every time we turn live, man, you know it's the truth. Every after show, moving down, it's the time to move around. No Gimmicks podcast is going down. Every night, every time in the ring, this is the time for the No Gimmicks, no, we doing our thing. What's your state of mind, state of mind? Moving down a statement when we take the line. This is exactly wrestling the state design. When you see Stone Cold like me, with the stunner in the world, exactly, man, what we bring. Every night we move like Brock Lesnar, the F5, no gimmicks. We take you to your limit, what's the feeling? When we live in the air, you know we on, it's the time. Guarantee we move, you know how we respond. The state is mine, the state design when we feel it. Moving down, what's the healing? No gimmicks is the feeling.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the No Gimmicks podcast here on the DFPN. You know what it is. We're back on a Thursday. It's myself, the choice, Matt Andrews. Welcome back to the show, sir.
Hey, man, always pleasure to be here. Thank you again for having me. Great to talk some MPX and I don't know, whatever else we want to talk about, man. It's a pretty big weekend in the world of wrestling.
Oh, man, most definitely. Most definitely. So I do want to get your thoughts real quick. It was a big weekend. We had Royal Rumble. We've been asking people, were you surprised by the men's Royal Rumble result?
I don't know about surprised by the result. I think we've been saying it a lot in the Triple H era, that sometimes giving the crowd what they want is okay. And every single arena that you see Jey Uso go into, the entire crowd is moving along to his music. Like there's no comparison. Now, whether that's because it's catchy or because it's, you know, a popular gimmick doing all of this and whatnot, it could be whatever.
Yep.
But the point is everybody's behind him, right?
Yes.
And that's kind of the whole point. You want the guy, like everybody clamors for, oh, we want this guy to be behind it. Okay, well, when the guy is actually going to do it, then it isn't that the intended result? Like,
you know what? You say this so confidently because my prediction going into it was CM Punk. For me, it was almost a foregone conclusion. But they kind of pulled a Texas Rumble on us to where
right.
What you think is going to happen isn't really going to happen. There's a surprise there. So for me, having Jay win, it was a welcome surprise. I loved it, but that was not something I saw coming.
Sure. And like, we talked about the Texas Rumble, or you just brought that up, and we had Tommy Dreamer out there. And Tommy Dreamer made a name for himself in ECW by always being the guy that almost got there, but never quite did. Now, I can't necessarily say that about CM Punk because he has won the title. He has gotten to the main thing, but his white whale is the main event of WrestleMania. And so now the storyline continues even more, where he's like, he is just getting that dang close, and he's not going to get it. And I think that deepens his character even that much more. And now he's got to get through another damn obstacle, whether it's an injury or now it's two former members of the Shield that he had absolutely nothing to do with. And can you imagine the promos if they end up doing this triple threat that's rumored? With CM Punk being like, I'm the one that brought you guys into this world. I can see it all. I can see it all down the line. It's gonna be a great match.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm excited. There's a lot of excitement out in the world of wrestling right now. Let's get back to MPX, man. Sure. The fallout, which was the fallout from the Texas Rumble. I want to start by looking ahead. So one of the things that we had to look forward to at Fallout was Athena, and she showed up. I thought she was going to be involved, but she actually made an announcement, and that announcement was MPX Destiny is coming back to the Lively Point Youth Center in Irving in March. So that was definitely a big announcement.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that announcement to come so soon. I certainly I knew that there were rumors that we would potentially be going back to the Lively Point Youth Center, but it looks like the reception was so good. I mean, when you bring in 400 plus fans in the Rumble, you kind of have the venue saying, why don't we do that again?
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, nobody is looking more forward to this year's Destiny than I am. Destiny is where I got my start in the ring announcing thing last year, so this is going to be a great 1 year anniversary. I am so much more in the know, and I know what I'm doing even more so now. So I'm very, very excited to see what this year's Destiny ends up bringing to us.
That's awesome, man. And you speak on the growth as an announcer. What has been the biggest challenge that you actually overcome from that?
Getting over being starstruck almost. I
Mm.
think the biggest thing is realizing that I don't have to know everything. Like when I was starting out, I felt bad for going up to people and being like, "Hey, I know you've been doing this for a bit. I've been out of the game a while, but I'm sorry. Who are you and where do you come from?" Like I felt so bad for asking people that. I'll feel more worse about asking people that now if I know that I've announced them. Like, I think Rex Mori is a prime example. I have announced him probably 4 or 5 times now, but every time I have to go up and be like, "I'm sorry, what's your nickname again? Where are you from again?" Because like it's not it's unique, right? Like, but I just it just doesn't stick. Some things stick with you in your head and some things don't, and for whatever reason, like Rex is one that doesn't stick with me. But I'm a lot better now at approaching people and being like, "Hey, I'm your ring announcer tonight. How would you like me to say your name tonight?" Like that's how I always go about it,
I
because
like that.
people do things differently in different places, and
Yeah.
that's why I want to make sure that I'm doing it, like, just because you get announced this way at MPX, maybe if I'm doing a DFW All Pro show, that's not how you want to be announced. So like I,
Yeah.
I got to make sure I do the right thing for that promotion and that character.
Awesome, man. Awesome. I like that answer because I'm like that, especially on podcasting. Because if
Ah,
there's somebody that I'm interviewing for the first time, I'm like, dude, I just hope I don't mess this up. Like,
oh yeah.
just don't mess it up too bad. And afterwards, I'm like, did I do okay? It's like
Yeah, right,
you
right.
get that, yeah. So it's definitely something to learn. But this is why I want to do stuff like this,
Sure.
because I want to get to know the guys, get more comfortable with it. Repetition makes you comfortable. So
Yeah, repetition makes you comfortable, but also, in both of our games and stuff, I actually feel like it now. Now I feel like this. It's more respectful when you ask what they want to be called and whatnot.
right,
Not
right,
not to bring politics or whatever into it, but when you ask somebody what they want to be called, cool. Well, now that person knows you care enough about them to
right,
understand what they want to be called.
right. No, that's just basic human. So
Yeah, right. Yes. Yeah, I know. But some people are going to read into that a little bit more, right?
yeah. Like that's basic human. Like I respect you. I want to know your name so I don't mess it
I
up.
don't,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? That's
exactly. So,
that's you. So yeah, no, man, I get it. Let's talk about the fallout.
yeah, sure.
So we had some matches.
Yep.
The MPX women's title got defended.
Okay.
Uh
Yeah. All right. So you're opening with that one. Okay. So, first things first, I will 100% say, and I will tell this to Shay to her face. It was incredibly weird in that ring announcing the MPX Women's Champion and then saying America's Sweetheart instead of Alaskan Assassin. I'm not gonna lie. When you have a champion that was champion for 5 months, who defended it at least 9 or 10 times, and you just get used to saying that,
it's
it's
a
weird
habit. It's
when
a
it's
habit.
somebody else. Super weird. Um, but as for that match, so here's what I find really interesting. And I know that Nova introduced the chair into the match.
Yep.
But Shay did end up using it, you know?
Yeah.
And not to take away from Shay, because she won that championship. She put on a hell of a match at the Rumble, and she got that match and rightfully won the championship, but like, dang, you needed a chair to defeat Nova. Like, shucks. That's
Listen. On certain things, on certain things, I'm like, fair fight, fair fight.
yeah,
But it's Nova, dude. Nova's
that's
she's
fair.
big, she's rough, she's tough.
Yeah.
I kind of don't blame Shay, especially if she didn't introduce the chair. It's hard to
Yeah. No.
blame her for taking advantage. It's kind of smart, actually.
Using her surroundings and all
Yeah.
that. I get that. But I will just say, and there's so many people out there that are going to say I'm biased. Angela didn't need to use a chair. I'm just saying she didn't need to. Yeah.
That's a fair point.
That's
That's
all. That's all I'll
also
say. That's all I'll say.
also does it still make you America's sweetheart?
Oh boy, I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like we'll have to see what it is the next time she comes out and defends that, right? Like, is this, it's one chapter out of an entire book that
Yeah,
is going to be Shay's championship reign. And again, not to take away from her, she earned that championship in a hell of a match, so she rightfully gets to be called the women's champion. And I'm looking forward to seeing what else she ends up doing. I just hope that she
absolutely.
has, she treats that belt and that title and with respect. That's all I'm asking.
I get that, but also we kind of seen this with Angela. She just handled it better, and it's the pressure of
Mhm.
being the champion.
Sure. Well, and
She's new.
Angela's been doing
It's a
it for a
new
while.
role for her,
Sure.
So we'll see. Only time can tell what kind of range she has
Yep.
and where she goes, where the pendulum will swing for her. But overall, she defended her title. She's still the champion. She
Yep.
gets called that. So
Correct. Yep.
someone else who else is still the champion.
Mhm.
I don't know how we move from this one to what I'm about to go over, and that's Demo Diamond versus Matthew Palmer.
Yeah. That that entire second half of the show was it was like an ongoing cluster, if that makes sense, right? Like
Yes,
it
yes,
just kept snowballing
calamity.
from that tag match that started out with the Sons of Mayhem against the Scorn, and then rolling into Demo coming out and Matthew Palmer then coming out. And um again, God, the thing that I hate, and the thing that I hate about Demo the most is that he doesn't need advantages. He's
Mm,
a good wrestler. He is top game. He is the future. If I have anything to say about that, like when
I
you
agree
think
with you.
2024 was Demo Diamond's year, now he does what he did at the Rumble and getting the Prospect Championship. Now 2025 is looking like it's also Demo's year. But he doesn't need people like Richard Hill. He doesn't need people like Jamie Aller or Set Six or anything like that. And yet, here comes Richard Hill impacting the match, giving Demo the win after interfering and hitting Matthew Palmer in the back with that hockey stick. Like, I would love to see Demo come out with nobody else by his side, win a definitive match, and just be a good champion who can wear that with pride. He loves being champion.
Yeah.
I love that. He just can't defend stuff on his own.
All right. So I'm gonna
Yeah,
play devil's advocate for a second.
sure.
Is it Demo taking a shortcut, or is it Demo taking advantage of his environment? Because he is smart and he can manipulate people around. He's very good at it. He's very good at it. And real quick, we have a comment from Matthew Palmer that
Oh God.
says he needs another bitch slap.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. I appreciate that from Palmer. I'm sure that whether it's this Saturday or some other Saturday going forward, somebody is going to slap the taste out of Demo's mouth. Um, don't know who that is. I know he's got two big opponents this weekend
Yeah,
that
very
are going to
much.
give him a run for his money for sure. The odds are not in his favor. This might be one of those proving ground matches. So looking forward to see how Demo sort of fares in a triple threat environment with two former MPX champions in there as well. That's nuts.
Yeah, very much so. Let's talk about one of them because they were actually, we talked about him last week too, and that's Tatum Manning,
Oh
right?
yeah,
One of the things that we talked about last week is him controlling his emotions. He could not,
no,
and it cost him.
it did. which is crazy because it didn't at first. He won the match. He
Yeah.
got Taimi to tap out.
Yeah.
But it was afterwards when he just saw red. He couldn't do it, and he just wanted to send a message to Dave Sagan. And well, I guess the message was sent. But also, I mean, who has the last laugh? Ultimately, it ends up with Kaimi with a W in the books, and
Right.
and Manning with an L. What I am interested to see, there's two things interested to see with 1 in a million here. This weekend, triple threat match. There are no rules.
Yep.
So
Yep.
he could hold on to whatever hold he wants to as long as he wants to without repercussions there. Secondly, Dave Sagan's in the building too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
How much of this is going to be a triple threat, and how much of this is going to be Tatum Manning, like jumping and spooking and seeing if Dave Sagan's in the crowd somewhere, checking on his girlfriend. Is his girlfriend going to be here this weekend? And is Dave Sagan going to try to play more mind games? I don't know, but
he's already doing it.
Oh, yeah.
So if you saw his post today, he put out a similar one before he was recruiting. And it ended up being Tatum Manning's girlfriend. So same thing today, which I hope she's not in the building, because it's like he's dangling the carrot, letting him know that I know that she's going to be there and I will see her there. So I'm hoping that's not the case. But indication today is that's what he's doing. Uh-oh. Did I lose him? I think I did. We'll let him get back in. But yeah, guys, it's a lot going against Tatum Manning right now. And the guy, his focus needs to be on winning. And right now it's just not. So this Saturday, he has a huge opportunity in front of him. I just hope that this opportunity does not slip, because he cannot check his emotions. And again, we're waiting on Matt to get back, but thank you guys for hanging in there. And here he is. Welcome back. Uh-oh. Did I lose him again? Yep, lost him again. So, but yeah, guys, let's go over the card while we're waiting on them. Again, that triple threat match is going to be Demo Diamond, Aaron Eagle, and Tatum Manning. And again, huge opportunity for Tatum. Focus. You have what it takes, Tatum. You have what it takes. Please realize what's in front of you and the opportunities that you have. But while we're waiting on Matt, please subscribe to the Twitch for Metroplex Wrestling. If you haven't, they do the live shows every Saturday if you can't make it. And they're on Twitch. Search for Metroplex Wrestling. We keep losing them. We keep on losing them. Yes, sir. What's up, Jeff? Yes, we will be in the building, and we will be doing some live coverage this weekend. But again, search Metroplex Wrestling on Twitch. If you cannot make it, I know you're out in Virginia, so please catch a Twitch stream. Search Metroplex Wrestling. You can watch the show live. Subscribe to their Twitch channel. Very awesome stuff, man. So follow, like, and welcome back.
I don't know, man. Weird stuff. Glad you're able to keep things going, though.
No, and it's all good. It's all good. But I was saying for Tatum, the focus. He has a huge opportunity. We've seen what Demo's been able to do. Yeah. He has an opportunity to take that prospect title and make it good. He just needs to keep his emotions in check. But also in that match, we have somebody in there, an Eagle,
Yeah.
who's he's finding his way again, and it's awesome to see quietly becoming a key player again
Yeah,
in this
absolutely.
time.
And I think what you said at the best, he's finding his way again. He seems more invigorated, especially after dispatching his former sidekick, Caleb Briley. Knowing that he now has the identity as the true hero of MPX, I think that is going to help him a lot in this match. He's absolutely a dark horse candidate to take this. What with Demo having to keep away from two people, and then Tatum not being able to manage his emotions. I think Eagle has a great chance to come in and win this. And he's extra motivated. He didn't win the Rumble, but he didn't go back to back like he did last year. So
Right.
I think there's a great opportunity for the hero to walk away with that prospect championship.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we were talking about Tatum. Also in action this weekend is Sagan. He's going to be going up against Adam Green, the Cowabunga kid. So
Yeah. And with his Addicts Championship on the line, and that one's going to be big because Tatum is going to be involved in that some way or another. Whether he's going to play some mind games back to Dave Sagan or whether he's going to directly involve himself in the match. So, I mean, Adam Green, you got to look out over your shoulder too. Not saying that Tatum's going to attack you, but you got to make sure that if you're going for that Addicts Championship, you stop Tatum from disqualifying you,
yeah,
right? By coming in and attacking
yeah.
Sagan. So
a lot of ramifications if that happens. So
yeah,
the key part looks like is gonna be Tatum's his how he manages his temper. So
sure.
it's been something the past couple of shows. It's impacted not only him but people around him.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, he's got a lot to lose, not just as far as whatever he's going to have going on with Sagan and whatever ends up happening with his girlfriend and whatnot. But he's got a lot of clout, so to say, with everybody in that locker room. And if he sees red, and I respect a guy who's driven by decisions, but like there's a lot of bridges he could end up burning over these next few weeks.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Unintentionally, but
sure.
again, this is why I'm harping on how important it is for him to keep his focus, because it can be absolutely detrimental to people around him as well. So
yeah.
And then we have an announcement coming from Richard Hill and the Scorn.
Yeah, very interested to see what that's about. I doubt it's anything as monumental as the announcement for Destiny. It doesn't seem like there's anything that they could say that would be really newsworthy. I guess I'm trying to think of what it could be, but maybe they're going for the tag team titles for a sixth time. Who knows? Maybe it's a new member. I don't know. It's never good news when the Scorn and Richard Hill are coming out to talk. So
yeah.
Not looking forward to them interrupting me, as I'm sure that they're going to. But the Scorn are in action again as well that evening. So we'll see if that precedes their match or if it's something that they got to announce afterwards. But they're going up against the Sons of Mayhem again with no titles on the line, just a lot of pride. And yeah, I don't know. I just don't like having to think about what the Scorn is going to end up saying or doing because it usually doesn't mean a whole lot of good things for anybody in the crowd.
Yeah. Man, I want to talk about the Scorn real quick because when I first got introduced to MPX, they were like crowd fate. What happened?
Maybe that's what it is because we never really got an answer, right? And when I came back as a fan to wrestling in December of 23, my son immediately latched onto the Scorn. Loved them, took pictures with them and all that. And then for whatever reason, during that MPX championship match between Sky and Demo, the Scorn and Richard Hill came out and decided that it would be best for their business to attack Sky and align themselves with Jamie Aller and Demo. But that was really kind of the last big thing that we saw, short of Richard Hill attacking Matthew Palmer last week. Haven't really seen any other kind of collaboration
Yeah.
between Richard and Jamie. I know there was that little run in with Baby D, right?
Yep.
Where both of them came out and
Yep.
told Baby D basically to forget about coming back in the ring or whatnot. But aside from that, there hasn't really been any collaboration. We haven't seen the Scorn come out and be help Demo. We haven't seen Demo come out and
Right.
help the Scorn. We haven't seen
Right.
Jamie and Richard come out and make decisions together. If you were going to do a two-man power trip, so to speak, sure, Jamie and Richard would be it. But haven't really seen that. So who knows what that relationship is? And I don't know. I don't know what prompted them to believe that. I don't know. Not necessarily turning their backs on the addicts, but going into business for themselves and attacking De La Cremosa. I don't know what prompted them to think that was the best idea.
Right. Right. Yeah. It's been weird for me because I've seen them at their best, and it's like this change is kind of uncomfortable. It really
Yeah.
is. And then doing the pre-show and seeing Prince and his attitude and how he is now, I'm just like, dude, what happened? But
Yeah.
that's who they are. That's who they are now. So
And
I just
maybe that was who they always were. But
maybe.
yeah, I don't like to think about that. I like to think that it was the quote unquote the good Scorn that brought the
Hmm,
passion for MPX wrestling out and back in myself and in my son. So I'm gonna try to remember him that way, and we'll see how that plays out when they have their announcement this week, whatever it is.
absolutely, absolutely. Speaking of Sky, him and
Yeah.
Langley are going to be in action against No Cap, Carlos Diaz, and the returning Ocho Camacho.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting, not just for the fact that excessive violence is going to be rebounding after a loss, but now we've got another tag team reunion here in Carlos and Ocho, right?
Yep.
Um, by that same token, one of the new gods is in the building that night as well in Hostage Hirsch, and
Ooh, you're
I don't,
right.
I don't know if Tony Snow is going to be around, but could he run into his old tag team that he managed and fired unceremoniously last year? It'd be interesting to see. We haven't seen Camacho since they were fired from Snowman Enterprises last year, and Carlos is just recently returning. So,
Right.
is that tag team dynamic still going to be there, or are they going to be falling to Langley and Sky de la Hermosa as they try to rebound from a loss last week?
Right, right. Speaking of Hostage Church, you mentioned him. He's going to be in action against Paulie. So
Yeah, and we haven't
interesting
seen
there.
haven't heard anything from Paulie since he was ousted from the Rumble. You know, he was given that really not given. He earned that really prestigious number 30 spot in the Rumble, and got unceremoniously ejected from there. And so we haven't seen what's next for Paulie. Right? It doesn't look like it's going to be a nice smooth start to the road of what's next for Paulie by having to face the Coffin King himself in Hostage Church. That sounds like a terrible, terrible way to spend a Saturday night.
You know what? I prefer the road he's on now, because the road he was on to get to the number 30 entry, it was just everything was working against him. He's in a spot now. It's the road isn't easy at all, but he's in a spot now to where he can work and build his case for himself. I like where he is right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's in a good spot. I just think he needs to figure out what ends up being next. Like after
Yeah.
he needs to find something to fight for now.
Right.
At first, it was getting the Addicts Championship back from Dave Sagan because you lost it. Then it was fighting to get into the Texas Rumble. Then it was fighting to win the Texas Rumble and not get set back by set 6. And
Yeah.
now, well, what's next? What does he got to fight for next? Where is he going with it? So
Yeah, exactly.
interested to see where he goes on that front.
Yeah, I like that because he controls his destiny right now. So
Right, he doesn't
I
need to
like
rely
that.
on anybody else. It should be
Absolutely.
good.
Absolutely. And we got Dalton Gray versus JoJo, who put up a good fight against Karjai Wright, but was unsuccessful.
Yeah, JoJo's another one that kind of needs to find his way. Right, we haven't
Yeah.
seen him since Monty. unceremonious or not since Monty left us, sadly. And so we kind of need to see what JoJo ends up becoming. Monty left JoJo his entire empire. Um, I don't know what that entails, but it seems to be something that would be worth something to JoJo. But we don't know how he's going to react to any of it. Um, and grimy Dalton Gray, gosh, what should we say about him? I don't know. I don't know. It's
sneaky. Him and Man, I call the sneaky ones, because
oh my gosh, yeah.
if you let them hang around too long, bad things are gonna happen. They don't do it outright. It's always subtle, and it's always, I'm gonna make you pay attention to my left hand while my right hand is working, and they're masterful at it.
Yeah, that's a very good way of putting it, especially for Dalton, who is growing up in the business in the shadow of the Scorn, especially as how the Scorn is now, as you said earlier. Dalton's learning I guess the ways of the Sith would be a better way, would be a good way to put it, right? He's learning how to be underhanded, how to be devious, how to be scorny, if this is the new definition of scorny now, right? But he's also coming into his own. He's developing confidence, which is what Dalton Gray always wanted and needed. I remember talking to him when he was doing all of those pre-show matches, and he would ask, how was everything? How did it look? How was everything going? And now we don't see that from him. We see a confident Dalton Gray coming out. We see somebody who knows what he needs to do in the ring to be successful, and he's finding his own. It's not pretty necessarily to look at, but he's finding his own way in there.
And you know what? That could be the same thing with Scorn. They're figuring it out. Yeah. They're figuring out, like, this is the path, and this is how we get what we want to get. Because since they've been on this path, the success has been there for them. It may not look good, it may not look pretty, but they are getting the job done. Same thing for Dalton Gray.
Yeah, sure.
So then we got Kaimi versus Mikey B.
Yeah, it's going to be a nice loaded card. Kaimi, I don't know if he's 100% after the beating he took from Tatum last week. Yeah. Meanwhile, Mikey is coming off of a great victory. He's still nursing that leg injury, but he's coming off of a great victory against Carlos Diaz. And Kaimi did not look great after that match, right?
No, he didn't.
No, and he didn't want to tap out and whatnot. And I wonder how does House Sagan look on Kaimi now, right? They weren't around last week for Kaimi, trusting the hard-headed Hawaiian to go out there and take care of business on his own. And I mean, technically, if you look in the records, yeah, he did. He walked away with the W, but is that how House Sagan wants things to be done that way? Doesn't seem like a great way to get the W. It's like, getting hit by a pitch with the bases loaded to win the game. It's like, well, there are better ways to win it, but sure, I guess if I got to sacrifice myself to do it, why not?
You're in the sun, so no darkness, no shade, sir.
Yeah.
I get it.
I would just hate to see happen to Kaimi what ended up happening to Red Chambers. Here's a guy
totally can happen.
Yeah, here's a guy that Sagan offered his hand to, offered to save, offered to step into the sun. And when Chambers wasn't measuring up to expectations, he got ousted from the group. Here's Kaimi, who was kind of lost under Coach Nick and now is finding his way with House Sagan. But if more matches like last week with Tatum happened, does Kaimi end up on the streets? Like, who knows?
And listen, Mikey B is a tough test. This is a tough test for him. So back-to-back weeks, and Mikey B doesn't have the pressure that a Tatum Manning has. He's coming in here with a clearer mind. So
sure. Yeah, Mikey's just trying to go along. And again, he's another one who's trying to find his way after Big J left him. Paulie's not there anymore. He's kind of on his own. But he also is having fun. I think that's a big thing that I'm seeing with Mikey is that he's having a blast out there. I think
Yeah,
before there was so much pressure to be the the boy band behemoth, to be this guy to try to live up to a certain expectation, and now it's just he's out there, he's having fun, he's enjoying being
absolutely.
out there. So I like this side of Mikey.
Absolutely. And shout out to Paulie. You just mentioned him. He has a comment here. He says, sorry, late comment, but love the feedback. Thank you for listening, Paulie.
Oh
And
yeah,
more than welcome. This is a platform for you, my guy. If you want to come on the show, please come on the show. I'd love to have you. So
absolutely, and that goes for any of the locker room from MPX. I mean, you got.
absolutely.
I'm sure you're friends with both of us on Facebook. Like, just hit us up if you want to be on here. We're more than happy to feature you guys, and I'll step aside. You all can have the floor, and so glad, and
Absolutely.
thanks for listening, Paulie. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So let's move on. We got tag team championship titles on the line. Tommy Becker, Matthew Palmer going up against Set Six.
Yeah,
Little bit stronger than they
yeah,
were.
yeah.
So
A little more resolved to Set Six now, right?
yeah,
Now that they've established their core identity of being of Man and TJ Slater, getting rid of what they, I'm sure, would call dead weight. But here's another one of those instances where do we see the collaboration between Richard Hill and Jamie Aller? With Hill taking out Palmer last week in the match against Demo, and now
yep,
Aller probably going to be at the side of Set Six during this. Is this a short-lived reign for the Tommy Becker and Matthew Palmer? I'd like to think not. I think Becker and Palmer being former MPX champions, like that's a massive tag team for them to only have a short title reign, but that's a
yeah.
lot against them in this match.
I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of skeptical. I was kind of skeptical of this tag team, but I like them. I
Oh
really
yeah.
do like them together.
Yeah, and I mean Tommy has gone a little off the deep end as well since losing the MPX championship, right? We've barely
Yep.
seen him, and then he comes back, he abducts Dalton Gray, which was funny as hell, but he seems to have an eerie calm about it while he's doing it. And Matthew Palmer is, well, he's unhinged.
Right.
He's out there, and I mean when you get two crazies in a room together, they can create a lot more craziness, and I think maybe that's what works.
I agree. I agree. And that tandem, it works well. But again, like we said, Set Six, they're getting back the strength that they had. So
Yeah.
a match like this, and let's be honest, Richard Hill in the building, things can happen. So
Absolutely. And you got to think about what's at stake with Demo already having the prospect championship. Now Set 6 has the opportunity to get the tag team championships. They're starting to build something pretty big here.
yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
I'm sure Jamie and Richard are going to do anything they can to make sure that that ends up being the case.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What else do we have on that night?
Um God, I feel like he covered a lot of it. It's a stacked night
It
for
is
sure.
a loaded night.
Yeah, and a lot to look forward to, and a lot now that we're officially on the road to Destiny.
Yep.
Trying to see how those stories end up taking shape. You got to believe that Manning and Sagan are on a crash course for one another. Bullet trains heading at each other 100 miles an hour.
Yep.
That's got to come to a head up there. But it'd be interesting to see how the rest of everything goes. Right? Where does Demo go next? Right? He's already defended against Matthew Palmer, a former MPX champion. He's defending this weekend against a former MPX champion in Tatum
Yep.
Manning and a former MPX champion in Aaron Eagle. What's going on with all of this? Is this a good way for Demo to test himself? And who's putting him in these matches? Is are they trying to test him, or is this just how the luck? Is this just how the draw goes, where Demo finds himself in these matches?
I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like Demo is doing this on purpose to
Yeah,
himself,
yeah,
because you had Matthew Palmer last week.
hmm
You get through Matthew Palmer. This week you have a triple threat. The
hmm
deck is stacked against you. If he gets past this triple threat, he has very little to worry about in these next two defenses. So if he clears 4 defenses and he's a Rumble winner, it
Yeah.
really we're a month out from Destiny, which is on March 15th. We're a little over a month out with him clearing 4 defenses, and he's a Rumble winner. There's a lot of room for him to play with as we get close to Destiny.
Kind of wonder what might happen, and I'm not trying to put any bad juju out there on Kari by any stretch of the imagination, but let's say Demo ends up winning all 4 defenses, right? And then cashes in on Kari before Destiny. Well, then, I mean, is this one of those situations where, like, maybe the champ gets the night off at Destiny because he's the Rumble winner? Who's going to face him kind of thing?
Right.
You know, it's not a bad strategy. You might be right. Maybe he's doing this on purpose, starting off these defenses early.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Maybe he's stacking the deck. Demo is a smart person, and I feel like he likes to play the game on what I call legendary.
Mm-hmm.
He likes to play the game on the hardest level possible so that when the time comes, he's absolutely ready. And there's data to back this up. The guy has constantly been the smartest person in the room while making everyone else believe that it's impossible.
Yeah, it is. And he certainly has a great support system behind him to help him through all of that, shall we say.
Now, with that being said, I'd love to see him and Kari again. I would love to see that happen again.
Yeah, that would be a fantastic match,
Absolutely,
without a doubt. And with the roles reversed now, obviously with Kari being champ and Demo in the chasing role, it changes the dynamic of it and provides for a lot better moments. I think it's a good one to watch for.
Absolutely. All right, sir. Any final words?
No, don't believe so, man. We're really looking forward to GoldenEye this weekend, and I will say it seems interesting. We seem to have a rash in the indie world of a lot of video game themed shows lately. So you know, I'm okay with it as long as nobody's getting in trouble. I like it.
So one thing. So before this, I saw the reality of wrestling.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was talking about. Yeah.
I saw theirs and I said, oh, that's cool. And then right after that, I saw the GoldenEyes and I was like, oh, that is awesome.
Yeah.
I like that. I was like, kudos to whoever did that because that is amazing. I like it.
Now I got to figure out what the next ones are going to be. I mean, is it going to be MPX Metal Gear? I mean, where are we going with it, right? Oh, I know, right?
Oh, yes. Yes,
MPX
like
Call of Duty. I mean, who knows? There could be a lot going on with it.
I like it. But yeah, man, this Saturday, make sure you guys come out. GoldenEye doors open at 7:15 for the people who purchased the early pass. 7:30 for everyone else. Make sure you guys get your tickets. Again, loaded cards. If you can't watch them, search Metroplex Wrestling on Twitch, subscribe, and you'll be able to watch the show live. Matt, thank you once again for coming to the show tonight. It's, as always, it's an honor, man. It's a pleasure.
Absolutely. And there is one more thing, Joe. Just thank you very much for, thanks to the No Gimmicks podcast for being a sponsor of Metroplex Wrestling. I also want to shout out Time Rift Arcade for being a sponsor again for MPX and also Sauced. I was able to have some of their food last weekend, and it lives up to the hype, let me tell you.
Awesome.
So, very excited to have those guys on board. Planning on seeing them again in the near future. And all you addicts out there, go out and support all of our sponsors because that helps support Metroplex Wrestling. So thank you very much for the platform.
No problem, man. It's always here for you guys. So thank you.
Definitely.
All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in this week. Again, catch us next week. Until next time, you guys have fun, be safe, take care of each other, enjoy what you want to enjoy. Peace.
See ya.
And I know it's all business, all business, all business. We give them no gimmick. Yeah. And I know it's all business, all business, all business. We give them no gimmick. Yeah. And I know it's all business, all business, all business. We give them no gimmicks.